Hello, my name is Gianfranco from the EFWA team, and I'm going to show you how where I'm using cookies and user identity for .NET Core to kind of pass the logged in user information through the every controller and through the whole application. The idea is to every time we go into a controller, if the user is authenticated, then access is going to be granted, and then also information about the user is going to get passed through every single sort of procedure, action, or method that we're going to be using through all the applications, so we can stop hard coding the IDs of the logged in user to do testing. So I'm going to log in. And now you see here that my name is typed. Is the same name that I have in my user profile. See, first name, last name. So let's say if I update this just to prove what I'm saying, that thing should change. So let me log out. I'm gonna log back in. And now my last name changed. So if I change it back, and log back in, my last name changed again. One thing that I'm also managing is that since link to Forex account is only for developer accounts, and this is the basic trader account, it doesn't show, and I'm using Razor to get that. So I'm gonna show how I'm doing that. So in the home controller, I'm asking if user identity is authenticated, then I'm getting the user role from the identity, and then depending on the logged in user, if it's a basic trader, the role of basic trader, it redirects to the index of Razor user, which is this page. And then if it's a developer role, then it goes to developer profile of Razor user, which is the home page of the developer profile. After if it's not authenticated, if the user is not authenticated, then it goes and asks for the cookie, which is something that we did previously. After I'm signing in, even with the cookie, I create, after I'm validating the user from access, which is something that I also do in the login page after we're logging. I get the logged user. It's a method, which is this method, get logged user. I am basically getting this information from the user, and I'm saving that in the identity object. Get logged user, and then I send the username as a parameter, and then I create the this user type object, app user state. And then I do identity sign-in, which is a method that I created, which it's in the base controller, meaning that it's accessible through all controllers, through all the application. We don't need to kind of recreate these methods on every single controller. And I'm creating claims. It says, for example, the name identifier is going to be the user ID. The name is going to be the username, the given name is going to be the full name, the role is the role description, and then I'm also, just in case, saving the whole user as a claim that I hard-coded into the user state claim type. Authenticated, and then I'm saving these claims into a cookie. .NET Core authentication and system security claims encrypt the cookie, so there's no any security issues or risks for this data to be exposed at all. Then we sign in asynchronously, and then we create the effort scheme, which and I'm adding this setting to make the authentication expire after 20 minutes. These are methods that I'm using throughout the whole application, and everybody is going to use. If we want to get the user ID of the logged in user, just let's say to edit the profile or log or pull anything from database based on the user ID, we're going to be using this method. And this we're going to use to get the full name, which is what it's printing this. And we're also going to get the username if we ever need it, and we can get the role if ever needed, which is what I'm using for Razor to kind of hide the link to Forex account, since my user is a regular basic trader user. I'm going to show now, I forgot to mention that I'm doing the same thing in the login. After the user gets validated, I'm using the same method, identity signing, to create the authentication of the user. So I'm gonna go to home, and then just to show the username, I did that in the home layout, and I'm gonna go look for that. Here in the layout. So here I'm asking if the model logged user role equals developer, then we show the click to edit profile is going to get me to the edit profile for a developer account. If not, it's going to give me just a regular edit profile page. And then again, I'm asking if the logged user role is developer, then I'm going to show the link Forex account section in this area. So there's a couple of things that I'm doing to kind of do not have the necessity to reuse everything. So I have the base controller, which is inherits from controller, the controller class. So every controller that is going to be using identity are going to have to inherit, instead of to controller, to base controller. So the methods in base controller can be accessed through all the controllers that inherit from base controller, which in this case is the home controller and is the login controller. And also to consume it, it's the register user controller, because all of them need to get the logged user full name and logged user role for the layout for this part. So also to since I did changes in the model, I created the base model, which is gonna has the same purpose as the base controller. It's gonna be a model that is gonna be inherited by all the other models. So for example, I think edit user profile inherits from base model, and on the meantime, that's the only one. Forex account model also, and then we we don't have anything else. Okay, yeah, so open account model also will be inherited from this model, and any model that is going to be using this are going to be inherited from the base model. So that's it. Thank you.